How do you select the best image? After a photo session comes the task of selecting the finest images. This is the technique of the Squint Test. Once you import your images, you can bring them up as rows of thumbnails and look at them quickly to judge which are worthy of retouching and post-processing. This will save you time and help you to capture better images during your next photography session. Image selection and shooting are reciprocal skills. The more you are aware of the criteria for a usable portrait, the better you will set yourself up for success when shooting. You'll know what works and what doesn't, and why. A squint test, here a Gaussian blur, reduces the composition to its simplest visual pattern. This removes details that can be easily fixed in retouching. The squint test shows you how the elements like the human subject and the location details relate to the overall image shape. A thumbnail sketch, like the squint test, allows an artist to visualize a composition quickly. Not getting bogged down by details allows you to focus on the largest relationships: subject placement in the frame, subject relation to the negative space, major shapes, major colors. Strive to work out the major compositional relationships ahead of any labor-intensive Photoshop work. As I glance through the smaller images, I have certain negative factors that eliminate or cull the bad images, and positive factors that signal it might be a good portrait. Some quick criteria I'm looking at are cropped, off, or hidden limbs, location of where the head is placed in the frame, a feeling that the subject is balanced with a negative space, facial expression is dignified. First, chopping. Eliminate any image where the frame chops off the human figure in an unpleasant way, or a limb is hidden behind the body. Viewers interpret cropping at the ankle and wrist as chopping off the hands and feet. Also avoid cropping at knees and elbows. This is an accepted convention, and if you break it, it distracts from your portrait. Framing. Look at where the subject is placed in the frame, so the relationship to the image border and the background is balanced. Before you zoom in and look for details, look at the thumbnail and how much space there is between the subject's head and the image border. You are arranging the subject within a boundary. The primary decision is where you place the head. Placing the head on the central vertical axis is fine, but it doesn't activate the space or counterbalance details in the location. This is why novices are taught the rule of thirds, and some photographers go on to use harmonic armatures. Another problem is placing the head too close to the image border and it feels crowded, but a benefit is tight framing can also feel spontaneous. This is your artistic decision. You can crop however you want to show the subject as close or far away. The one convention most viewers agree upon is not chopping at the ankles or wrist. Balanced space. If you squint, then you see the space around the subject and think of it as a shape. The space around the figure and between the image border is now negative space. Does the shape have enough breathing room between the image border? This third criteria asks, does the interval of space feel balanced? Is the subject striving to be in a different location? Does the spatial arrangement of the frame convey the feeling you want it to convey? Ultimately, it is your sensitivity that leads to the artistic decision of how much space is enough to feel balanced and unified. Fourth, once you eliminate the poorly cropped images and select the well-framed images and have spatially balanced, then you can go back and look at facial expressions. Is the subject presenting a conscious emotion? Are they authentic and dignified? Sometimes we capture expressions that are between emotions and the person looks confused or worried or blank. That is why they must be presenting and aware in a portrait. Summary. 1. No cropping that looks like amputation. 2. Framing. The subject is placed in the image border so that the relationship to the frame and the background is balanced. 3. Balanced space. The area of negative space between the subject's head and the image border achieves the feeling you want to convey. 4. Facial expressions. The expressions are dignified and the subject is presenting a conscious emotion. You are careful not to catch them between expressions.